We are Southern Illinois. Welcome to the Building the Salukis podcast, brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association, keeping Salukis everywhere connected to SIU for life. Now, here is the voice of the Salukis, Luke Martin.
Well, Saluki Nation does not need much introduction to this guy. They're very familiar with him, not just because they've seen him in another Valley uniform, just down the road. John A. Logan won a national championship. Isaiah Stafford now will come down the street just a little bit in Carbondale to play for the Salukis as our Building the Salukis podcast series continues, brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association. Let's welcome on that smiling face of Isaiah Stafford. Isaiah, man, thanks so much for the time. What's been this whole process like been for you, man, to lock in, decide where you're going to go next? Was it stressful, easy? Like what was the recruiting process like for you?
At first, it was a little stressful due to my circumstances last year, but it kind of picked up a little bit. And then, like I said, when SIU Salukis got in the picture, I'm like, that would be a perfect homecoming. I had a great time when I was down there. I won when I was down there, most importantly. So, yeah.
You talked about, of course, that winning environment at John A. Logan. When you think back to just that year and the team you were with to go on a run like that, how much does that experience still stick with you in moments you go back to remember from that year?
It sticks with me a lot, honestly. Like I talk to the guys a lot, but more so in game, honestly. Like I feel like that year we kind of got over humps and found a way to win like the last 2 minutes. Like that was one team that I felt like during those 2 minutes, if it was a close game, no matter if it was up a couple points or down a couple points, I knew that we were gonna win because we always found a way to win. So I feel like game management really helped me during that time, seeing how to win and knowing how to train for a long, long season.
Isaiah, when you think of joining the Missouri Valley Conference, when you first got to Valpo, what were, I don't want to say if there were any sort of growing pains for you, but what were the biggest transitions that you had to make from junior college to the Missouri Valley? And now, of course, there's not much of a transition you have to make at all because you've been in the Valley and you know what to expect and you produced at a high level. But what were the initial transition like for you of getting into the Missouri Valley Conference and getting acclimated to the league?
I would mostly say the physicality for sure. I feel like the Valley is a pretty strong league, a physical league. Um, Other than that, mostly the during college you don't have as many days that you have required to like you could practice and stuff like that and be early. So I would say that pretty much. But playing wise, I feel like I was pretty good. The Logan team is pretty experienced, so we push each other. So I feel like the competition level was like I said, at first couple games I was nervous, but just physical. Once I put on the strength and seeing how the game rotated, I felt like I got acclimated pretty good.
I know for you, Isaiah, it works out to where we are fortunate to see you in a Saluki uniform. But for Saluki Nation that don't know your kind of story, of course, within the last year at Valpo, almost a year ago, close to this time, is when you got hurt, tore your ACL, of course, had to miss all of last season. Has it felt like a year for you? Like what's this last year in the process just been like for you to one, go through such a difficult injury, but then how you manage yourself from a mental capacity, a physical capacity to get yourself back up to a position where you're at now?
You asked did it feel like a year, man. It felt like five, honestly. It feels like it's been so long. But no, the main thing is I would probably say the hardest thing was honestly the mental aspect of it. I've been playing basketball for so long and it's taken up so much of my time and to just have it ripped away, I feel like found myself being like at a standstill kind of. So I feel like I had to find who I was outside of basketball, pour into my family, my religious, of course. Just trying to understand like, all right, where do I go from here? And honestly, the recovery back from the ACO is basically like basketball training to a standpoint is really hard. You got to really like dedicate yourself to actually wanting to get better. Like one thing I said in the process is like you have to be willing to help yourself, honestly, because like if you don't put in the work, if you don't do the extra reps that's needed, then you could be sitting at a standstill and never bounce back. So I feel like the biggest thing was getting over that hump mentally, like, all right, this is going to make me better. This is giving me a whole year to work on my body, giving my body the rest that I need where I usually don't get, and to come back bigger, stronger, quicker. So I feel like I've really toned in on my body, added some muscle, some explosiveness, some fix some technique type of things and really had the time to sit down and look at it from the whole viewpoint.
This is the Building the Salukis podcast, brought to you by the SIU Alumni Association. The SIU Alumni Association wants you to remember, once a Saluki, always a Saluki. Alumni worldwide are staying connected and getting involved at SIUalumni.com. You talked about your personal circle. Who were people that specifically really helped you out a lot, Isaiah, over the last year and got you through what can be a very challenging process?
I'll say my mom, my family, my mom, my little sister, my stepdad, my aunt, and then some of my Logan teammates actually. You might know a few like Kimari Peterson, Elijah Jones, Tion Nesby. Like they made sure they checked up on me, uh, just to keep my spirits high when I was feeling down, telling me that I could bounce back from it, just get back to that level that I once was at.
If you can, Isaiah, just when you got through this year, and again, everybody in today's day and age, it's a new climate, kind of looking exactly where you're going to fit, how you mix in. What was most important in the decision making process for you? Of it ended up being Southern Illinois, but when you looked at it, talked with your family, to those poor people in your life, what did you lean on? What did you value to lead you to the decision that you ultimately made to come here to SIU?
Honestly, a big part of the decision is that I wanted to win. Like I've everywhere I've been at, I've usually been winning, and winning feels good. Like I'm a true competitor in everything I do. I hate losing, so like I just don't feel like myself with losing. And then looking at Coach Nagy's track record, his resume, it was something that caught my interest. And then being there on campus, seeing the campus, also playing there, being from that, going to school down there, going to games, seeing that the community is really on board with winning. And I feel like that helps a lot when the community believes in you and the community buys in, it boosts your confidence to help pull out those games that maybe you're not supposed to win, or even at home, just that crowd feeling. So I feel like winning was the most important thing, and just the community vibe that I feel like the whole Saluki Nation, the Saluki Nation is huge. Everybody's bought in.
Yes, and you're going to find that out firsthand very, very quickly when you get here in June. And again, you don't need a whole new introduction, as we've talked about your background, of course, at Johnny Logan. But when you were getting to know the coaching staff, it is a new coaching staff. And the last time you competed was against the different staff here at SIU. What did you like about Coach Nagy, his staff, other than just the pedigree? What did you enjoy about the relationship side? Because it's a very quick process. It's not one that's very long. So you have to see some things that you value early. What did you value in the Saluki staff really checked off your list?
Honestly, that they're very transparent. Like I just like I'm one of them people that's like, if you be honest with me, no matter if it's good or bad, then it's a win in my book. So I feel like he was very transparent. Told me like, all right, this is what I want. We're gonna get down on the defensive end. Like we're gonna sit down and guard, and this is what we're gonna do. And he basically laid it out step by step, and I could get behind that. Somebody with a vision, somebody got plans to achieving that vision. I could get behind that.
Let's talk about you as a person, Isaiah. Who is Southern Illinois getting? Who will the guy that Saluki Nation will be clamoring for autographs, et cetera, after games? But when they see you out in the community, like how would you describe yourself as an individual and a person and as a man that Saluki Nation will start to get to know?
I describe myself as I don't talk the most, but once you get me talking, I'll start talking. I got a big smile, like I said. Like I'm a jokester, so see me, I'm gonna work hard, dive on those balls, give it all I got to win, even if it means extra hours putting my body on the line, give it everything I got to win. So that's pretty much it.
What do you believe, Isaiah, is the most important attribute to win?
Most important attribute. Hmm. I'll say chemistry, honestly. Like chemistry with the players and the coaches. Some people be like, we just have great team chemistry. I mean, player chemistry, but you have to also have a two-way street with coaches, honestly, because we're players are the ones that's out there, but the coaches are the one that's making the game plan, seeing it. So if you guys are both able to collab, then you got a good recipe for winning.
As a player, in terms of adding to that winning culture that you want to bring here to SIU? Again, we've seen it on display within the Valley, but what's an area that you believe you've improved in despite the last year being injured that you feel like, hey, when I hit the floor wearing that Saluki maroon, people are going to see a better version of Isaiah Stafford. What's something that you want to add to your repertoire that will, of course, ultimately help you, but most importantly, will help this team get to the ultimate goal, which is to win?
Honestly, I would say two things: my playmaking and my leadership. Honestly, like sitting down, being on the sideline for a year. Like I said, I'm not the loudest type of guy, but sitting down, just seeing the game for a whole year, I feel like that I've actually like I've been able to talk to some of the younger players that we've had. I see the game differently. Like it's kind of slowed down. Like so, I feel like my own core leadership, and I've developed that voice, and also my playmaking, getting others involved and stuff like that. Just I feel like when everybody's clicking, it's so like a well-oiled machine, like we're moving.
Again, it's going to be a very important time when you get here in June to get to know your teammates, but at least here in the initial time period when we're talking to you in May, from the guys who are coming back to the guys of this team that continues to get built here in the months of April and May, what's impressed you about the guys that you've talked to, Isaiah, just from that standpoint of just the personality base of just trying to get to know some of your teammates now before you get on campus?
The things that stood out to me, honestly, that they all like working hard. Honestly, when you have a group of people that just like working hard, it's easy to get acclimated with them to like being around them because then you have some on days you don't feel like you have the next guy that's pushing you, or he doesn't feel like it, somebody else is pushing you because we all like you all like working hard. So I feel like that was the biggest plus that I realized talking to some of the new pieces.
It could always be like a cliche type question to ask, Isaiah, but everyone wants to talk about, man, I have a chip on my shoulder. And it's one of those things where you can say, it's easy to say it. It's another thing of how you attack, how you go to work, how you really showcase that chip on your shoulder. How do you showcase yours? And how would you describe the type of chip that you believe that you still have and that you want to prove now as a Saluki?
I'll showcase mine by honestly giving everything I have. Whatever the team demands, that's what I'm going to do. Uh, and like I said, I feel like I do feel like I have a chip on my shoulder. It's very cliche, but I feel like that like God has put me in situations where that chip on my shoulder would drive me to do bigger things. So I feel like I'm coming out like, all right, let's do this and let's win. Whatever I got to do, any means necessary.
Hey, I hope we see that smile a lot this year throughout the season. You know, not just because it's a great smile, but if Isaiah Stafford's smiling that big, good things are happening for the dogs, right,
Sure.
Isaiah?
For sure, for sure.
Well, of course, you know, we're talking to you here still a little bit in early May. So there's some time here before you get here in June. What's most important for you right now, just in terms of what you're doing, in terms of continuing, I'm sure, to get healthier and healthier, and just some things that you want to try to check off your list here before you officially get to Carbondale back here in June?
A few things I want to get, like you said, just get healthier. I got good strength back in my legs, but just getting good strength, getting game legs, like practice legs. I would say that
Yeah.
for sure. Not playing for a whole year. That first workout was kind of brutal. So just getting in the best shape I can before, like I really like have to do it not on my own. So
Now, maybe the hardest question I've asked you since you've joined me, and there's going to be a lot of hard questions I'll ask you when you get here, Isaiah. So get used to it. But like, what is a Carbondale staple in terms of a restaurant that you're glad is back to a place you can go? Like, I know a lot of people, of course, love Quattro's Pizza, and there's so many other Hardballs for breakfast is a popular one. Like, is there a spot now you're like, man, I'm back in Little Egypt, man. Like, I'm back in Carbondale. Like, I can finally hit this place up on the regular again now.
um, I got one place that's in Carbondale. I is it Sunny's Cafe?
Yeah, Sunny Street Cafe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was fire. That was fire. Great breakfast. Great breakfast.
Great breakfast. And you know
Oh,
what? And they're a proud Saluki sponsor. So you know what? So there will be plenty of options for
yeah.
you to get some Sunny Street as well. Isaiah, we appreciate the time, man. It's been so great to, of course, watch you in the league. We're huge fans of the Valley, and you, of course, have been such a huge player within the Missouri Valley Conference. And to now to welcome you to Southern Illinois. We can't wait to have you back. Look forward to seeing you here in the month of June, Isaiah.
I appreciate you for having me for sure.